Oops, you're on mute. There you go.
So if you didn't see the email this morning, I was hoping that you would have a chair that doesn't have arms, and also a chair that doesn't have wheels, so you can't slide when we do some of the movements. It's a mixture of modified yoga postures and just loosening up flexible kind of exercises. Everything from arms to legs to in between. Whatever you do, listen to your own body. I know it doesn't matter who's doing what. Some people are good at one thing, some people are not. So don't worry about what people do. Just pay attention to your own body and don't try and push it too far. So if you find that you get tired, just stop, don't worry. Or maybe do half of it and come back. But always just listen to your own system. And just because I can lift my leg high doesn't mean that you can. Don't worry, okay? Nobody cares. Anything that you do is good for you.
That's I'm sorry, Mina, I didn't mean to interrupt. That's wonderful. And I just wanted to check in about the view that people are seeing on their screen. But I didn't mean to interrupt the flow of what you were saying. Should I just do that now and then we'll go? Okay. Just to let folks know, if you want to see Mina big on your screen so you can follow her more easily, you can go up to the upper right of your screen where it says view and choose speaker view, and then you'll see a big version of her. My apologies. Go ahead, Mina.
Fine. That's totally fine. I just want everybody to know that being kind to your body is just as important as doing whatever we're doing this morning. So it's a complete mix. And first, it's just getting flexible. So bringing up your knee towards your shoulder, clasping your hands around the other knee and pulling it up. This is really great for flexing all of the tissue around the knee and the hip joint to make them a little bit more workable for us. And it's the kind of thing that you can do if you're just waiting for the TV to come up or something. You don't have to do it formally. But it's a nice way of starting to feel your body. So you just pull the knee up. Notice if it gets a little bit easier as you come along. Keep the back nice and straight and keep the body off the back of the chair if you can. That way you're going to have to use the body a little bit more. So you're coming up, and this time move the knee outward and then bring it back towards the center. You're moving it outward and coming back towards the center. Out and coming back. All of these are intended to help us get more flexible as well as getting more strong. And then switch sides. So you're drawing the other knee up and you're coming outward. And it's really common for one side of the body to be more flexible than the other. So one knee you might be able to move out farther and the other maybe not. Don't worry, it's really, really common. And coming back to center and just lifting the knees together. This one, you really use the core and you're using the thighs. So you may find it almost impossible because if you haven't been doing any particular exercises, this will feel like you're going to get tortured a little bit. So just wherever you can come up, but you keep the back of the chair. And that way you're using all of the core muscles. You're using both thigh muscles and getting stronger at the same time. And then push the heels away from you. So you're sliding the legs out straight, pushing the heels so that you can lift. and lift, and you'll feel the stretch at the back of the knees. Lift, just notice how far you can lift them up. And your back is still off the chair and nice and straight. And these thigh muscles will notice. Afterwards, you'll probably be able to tell you've just been using them. And then point the toes away, point the heels away, point the toes, and point the heels, toes and heels. And then draw a circle with your ankles. Come back around the other way. Reverse direction. And come back around. Reverse. And back. And push one toe forward, pull the other one back. Reverse. So you're alternating which one gets stretched in the top of the ankle or the sole. Then see if you can get the heels close to each other. See if you can get the toes touching. Heels and toes. Heels and toes. Heels and toes. These are things we generally don't do very often, so it's useful just to get things more loose. Then bring clasp the hands and push them forward. Push away from you, pull the shoulders back. Push away from you, pull the shoulders back. Just feel the shoulder joint getting a nice movement where you're stretching round the shoulder blade and then letting it relax. And then bring the hands up towards the ceiling. The palms are still facing away from you. And you're pushing up just a little bit, dropping the shoulders down. Push the shoulders up, drop them down. Up and down. And then coming back into the center. Bring the palms together and press gently, but at the same time enough to feel the muscles in the upper arms here. Do a little press and relax. Push in and relax. Push in and relax. And then point the fingers at your heart. And then rotate away from you down towards your lap. Coming in and rotating away. Coming in and going away. And then just move your elbow out and up, keeping the palms together. Switch sides. Switch. And come back. Over. And back. And feel the movement in the shoulders as well as the stretch in the wrists. Good. And back to center. And then spread and squeeze the fingers. As we get older, the fingers often get more stiff. So this is a useful thing. And then just shake. Kind of loosen up the wrist, loosen up the forearms and the fingers. Good. And then just pause for a second. Close your eyes and just feel your body. Just notice. Notice if it's the hands that you're feeling or your shoulders. And with the eyes opening up again, just let your head move gently towards the side so you'll feel the stretch coming up the side of the neck and in the shoulder. And very slowly come over. Notice which side is easier for you. Coming over. And coming back. Over. And back. And coming into the center and rotating, so you trying to look over your shoulder, but the body staying just where it is. And you're gently coming back, looking over the other shoulder, rotating around. And coming back. And these motions are always slow. You want to be careful with the neck. Coming over. And coming back. And back to neutral. Bringing your ankle onto your opposite knee. And gently pushing the knee down. This is working the hip joint. Very gently. You're not forcing it. That you're definitely working the joint. And by keeping the foot flexed, you're engaging the leg fully. At the same time, your back is tall and straight. Changing sides. So you're flexing the other foot. Notice the difference if one feels easier than the other. Good. And uncross. Then bring your right knee over your left knee and tuck the foot behind your left leg. So if you can, if it's too complicated for you, just let the foot sit on the outside of it. But if you can tuck it behind and keep your left foot anchored, the upper body is now going to go into the spinal twist. So if the right knee's on top, you move towards the right by bringing the right arm behind the back and pushing the right shoulder back as far as it will go comfortably. The left hand's resting just outside the right foot, the right thigh, and you're doing a gentle push towards the right. The wonderful thing about the spinal twists is that the more flexible your spine is, the more flexible your body is. And gently bring the body back to center. Keep the knees stacked at the moment and just let the body very gently come towards your thigh. So you may find that it's just too much, in which case stay upright. But if you can allow yourself to come towards the knee and relax the upper body, you'll feel some good stretches in the hip joints as well as along the back. Then when you come up, do it slow, very gentle, using the core if you can. And switching sides. So the left knee comes over the right, the foot's tucked behind the right ankle, your left arm is coming behind your back, and your right hand is helping you twist towards the left. And turning the body back to center, letting it gently go towards your knees. Again, if it feels like it's too stressful on the hips, just come straight back up. But if you can allow yourself to come forward towards the knees, great. And slowly back up to center. Uncrossing the knees, doing a little up and down motion just to loosen back up again. Then bringing your left hip off the chair and stretching the leg out straight to the side. So your toes are facing forward, your right foot's keeping you anchored, your back is off the chair, your left arm is coming up and reaching over towards the right elbow is going to let itself rest on the chair, and your left arm is long and straight. So it's like a straight line from the fingertip to the outside of the ankle. And if this feels like it's a bit too much, just use your hand to hold you, your right hand to hold you as you lean slightly to the right. But if you can get the elbow to the chair and still feel okay, it's a long reach with the arm and a long stretch in the leg. This is a modified warrior posture. It's one of them. And always, if you find that your arm gets tired, you can bring the hand to the shoulder, just take a rest, or you can come back up. And as you come back up, bring the left hand down the outside of your leg, the right arm up and reaching to the leg. It's a sideways bend, you're not turning the upper body. And again, you just bring as far as you can. Don't worry if it's not too far. And if this feels too much of a stretch, you can just bring the hand to the shoulder. That puts a little bit less demand on this side. And back to center. Using your chair to help you stay stable, bring the right heel forward. So you're flexing the foot and pushing the heel forward. And then bring the leg back, so you're pushing back on the toes. So the heel pushes forward, the leg is straight, your left hip is still off the chair. You push on the toes and push back away from you. The heel comes forward, the foot's flexed, and the toes come back, and you're pushing away from you. It's a great way of working the glute muscles in the hip. And back to center. Then coming out with the right hip off the right side of the chair. The right leg is out straight. The toes are facing forward. Your left hip is anchored carefully on the chair. The right arm is coming up and reaching over, and your left elbow's on the chair, keeping you secure. And again, if this feels like a bit too much, you can just use your hand, or you can bring your hand to the shoulder, wherever it works for you. If you do the full stretch, keep the outside of the foot on the floor so that you're maximizing it. Good. And then the right hand's coming down the outside of the leg. The left hand's coming up and over. And you're getting a nice side stretch up the left side of the body. Good. And back up to center. Bringing your right foot forward. Keeping the leg long and straight, so your left hip is still off the chair. You're holding the chair with both hands so that you keep nice and steady. The heel pushes forward as the foot gets flexed, and then you're on the toes pushing the heel back and getting the leg as straight as you can. Coming forward with the heel, coming back with the toes, pushing away. Forward with the heel, and back to center. Lifting one hip off the chair, then lifting the other, but keeping the body tall. Lifting one hip, so you're getting this movement in the hip, the glutes again, coming up and over. And just feel the body get more flexible. Then come to neutral and push one knee forward and then the other. So you do a little swivel in the hips. Feel all the motion in the pelvis here. Good. And back to center. Bringing the hands up in front of the shoulders in a soft fist. Taking a breath. Let the breath go as you open the hands, spreading them out towards the side. Then take the breath in as you're turning the hands and spreading the fingers back to the shoulders. Out breath, you're rotating and moving out from the body. In breath, rotating and coming back to the shoulders. Out breath, moving away. In breath, coming back. And then moving forward from the body for the out breath, same motion, turning the wrists, spreading the fingers, returning for the in breath to the shoulders. Out breath, coming forward. In breath, coming back. Out breath, coming forward. In breath, coming back. And then the next sequence is up to the ceiling for the out breath. Back to the shoulders for the in breath. Up for the out breath. And you take the breath back as you come back to center here. And one more time upward. The breath is leaving, you're reaching tall. Then you're coming back to the shoulder and you're taking the breath in. And then the last sequence is downward. So you're still turning the wrists and spreading the fingers. There's your out breath and you're coming up to the shoulders for the in. Out goes the breath. You're reaching down. In comes the breath. You're back to center. One more time to complete the cycle. And back up for the in-breath. And just shake the arms. Nice and loose. Let them go very, very soft. Anything that got kind of caught there can get out of you. Good. And just pause. Close your eyes for a moment and notice what's happening inside your own body. Opening the eyes again, bringing your knees apart so you're sitting towards the front of the chair. The hands are just above the inside of your knees, or rather the fingers are pointing on the inside. The hands are resting just above the knees. Keeping the back long and the spine and neck in the same straight line, slowly lower the body towards the floor. So you'll feel the shoulders getting stretched as you're coming forward. And at the moment, the spine and the neck are still straight. When your chest gets between the knees or close, let the neck go soft and see if you can look under the chair. All this is done very, very slowly. Then you straighten out your neck and you try not to use the hands, you try to use the core as you come back up. That's actually quite hard to do, so don't worry if you can't. And you're coming back up to center. Then with this upper chest area leading you, you're coming forward. You'll notice the elbows going out a little bit more as you do. Your neck and the spine at the moment still straight. And then when your chest is close to the knees area, you let the neck go soft and see if you can look under the chair. Don't worry if you can't. The neck straightens out again and you're coming back up. Again, minimum use of the hands if you can manage, and keeping the back long. And one more time, slow, feeling the length of the back as you come, the opening of the shoulders as you come. When you're between the knees, the neck goes soft. You're looking towards the back. Then turn the head and look towards the side. Very slow motion. Rotate and look towards the other side. Very gentle. Turn around and look the other way. Nice and slow. Rotate to the other side. And once more to either side. Always doing it very, very slowly. And the last turn. Then coming back to center. Straightening out the neck with the spine. Again, without hands if possible, but with hands, no problem. Coming back up to center. And bring the feet towards each other. Then heel toe the feet away from each other. So it's like you move the toes in, you move the heels in, move the toes, move the heels, move the toes, heels. And then you reverse, walking the feet out, heels out, toes out, heels, toes, and heels. Coming back, heels and toes alternating as they move back to the center. And bring up your knee to your shoulder. Bring up the other one. Feel the difference in the hips from when we started. Good. Then straighten out the back, then lifting up your leg. So the thigh muscles are going to be really telling you they're working here. If you find it's just too hard, bring the hands under the thigh so you can take some of the weight. But if you can do it without the hands, great. Try the other one. Which one is easier for you? Usually one is much easier. It feels almost like a different body when you do that. And then bring the other leg up again. And this time bring your hands under the thigh and lift. Just see how far you can bring it up. It may only be a little bit. Don't worry. If you can only bring this high, that's fine. But if you've got the ability to bring it higher or higher, just see where it can come. If you can get the hands behind the calf, do that. For the young people, this is probably really easy. If you can get the hands around the foot, come on, Beth, you can do it. it's surprisingly.
This is hard. Now, Lena, who told us that her spirit animal is a monkey, can probably do it. I don't know about
I'm
me.
trying. I'm trying.
And let the knee bend. Come up. Well, I figured that for the young people, this one would probably be pretty straightforward. But for us old fogies, not necessarily so. Let the knee bend again. And one more time coming up. But, you know, even if you only do a fraction of it, you're still working your body in a different way and you're getting yourself stretched and strengthened. So I figure it's all good. So if you bring up your other leg, so initially without the use of the hands, you can only come up so far because it really does take a lot of strength in the thighs. Then the hands can come under the thighs and you can lift it up a little bit more, or under the calf, or around the foot. The idea is to keep the legs straight and maximize all of the stretch. But again, don't worry. I've had practice, and obviously, if I can't do it, you know, we're in trouble. Let the knee bend in, so it's coming close to the shoulder, and then straighten the leg back out. Come in and straighten. In and straighten. And coming back again. And just lift and drop. Lift and drop. Good. Pull both knees in if you can. Straighten out one leg. Come back in. Straighten out the other. And come back. And feel the difference in your knee joints and your hip joints. And coming back to center. Again, just lift one hip off the chair. Lift the other. One. Because with all of the stretching that you're doing here, it's a nice way to loosen these muscles back up. Good. And back to center. And again, just pause, close your eyes, and check in with your body. And back to center. Bringing the arms out and up. And interlocking the fingers. Then aiming the index finger straight up to the ceiling. If it's possible. If you find that this is too much of a demand on the upper arms, just bring the hands to the shoulders. But if you can get all the way up, see if you can get the upper arms to touch your head. The index fingers are straight up, the body's tall, and without letting the hip come off the chair, you're going to the side into the sideways bend. You won't go terribly far because the hip wants to lift up, obviously. And slowly over to the other side. And one side will be an easier side for you, so just notice. And back up to center. And then arch back just a little bit. You'll feel it in the middle and lower back. If you can, you're looking up towards your hands. Bringing the head forward again and freeing up the hands to come back down. Turning the shoulders. And coming the other way. And I'm not sure if everyone can stand, but for those of you who can, I'm going to do a couple of balancing ones, because for all of us as we get older, balance becomes supremely important. So we won't take a lot of time with it, but I would like to cover some of the basic balance things. So if you come onto your feet, and you can obviously just use the chair if your balance is a little bit insecure. You don't want to risk falling. But if you can, lift up the right knee and bring it back down. If that feels like it's too risky, just lift the foot off the floor and balance on the left foot. So physically, you're not doing a whole lot, but by doing that balance, you're working with both the brain and the body. And then change sides, so your right foot stays on the floor. If it's possible, you're bringing up the left knee, or you're just lifting the foot off the floor, maybe a half an inch or an inch. It won't matter, but you're still working on balance. So even if you just do that, but if you can lift the knee up, great. Bring it back down. Changing sides, and always use the chair if it feels like your balance isn't so easy this morning. If you can bring up the right knee, bring it down, or just bring up the foot a tiny bit, anchoring the right foot, freeing up the left, either just that little bit, or bringing up the knee and coming back down. Changing sides again, either that tiny bit or bringing up the knee and coming down. Switching sides for the last one, either just off the floor or coming up and coming back down. Then planting the right foot at the left ankle, so your weight is on your left leg. This is a posture called the tree. For the younger people who do have good balance, you can bring your foot up to the inner thigh or to the calf or to the inner thigh. The hands come to the heart in prayer, and then the arms reach up to the ceiling. And again, if you need to keep your right toe right on the floor just beside your ankle, just do that. but put the bulk of the weight on the left foot if that's doable for you. Or you can be at the calf. You're still getting a lot of value because you're doing a serious balance and strengthening posture. Then the hands are coming back to the heart, and your leg is coming back down, and you're changing sides. And always, just you work with what your body can do. So I figure even if you can only keep your toes on the floor and put the heel resting against your right leg, that's completely fine. Or you can bring the foot to the calf, or you can bring the foot to the inner thigh, wherever your body will let you. Coming to the heart, and you can stay here, or reach up. Good. Coming back to the heart and back to the floor. Then let your knees bend just a little bit and draw a circle with your hips. And come back around in the other direction. Reverse direction. If you ever did a hula hoop when you were a kid, this will be easy for you. And come back around. And back to center. Come on, let your knees bend just a tiny bit and come onto your toes. So your heels are barely off the floor. Again, this is just balance and a little bit strengthening through the thighs. So physically, you're almost not off the floor, but you're definitely working with balance. Good. Then put the heels on the floor and lift the toes up. Let the toes come back onto the floor. Bend the knees just a tiny bit and get the heels off the floor if you can. Always use the chair if you need it. Heels go on the floor, toes lift up, toes come back down, knees bend a little bit, and the heels come off the floor. Heels come back down, straighten out the legs, the toes lift up, and you're back to center. And just close your eyes for a second. Notice what your body is telling you. And for those of you who are strong enough and feel secure enough with your balance, I'm just going to do one more using the chair while we're on our legs. Putting the hands on the chair and lifting one leg up. The aim is to get it parallel to the floor. Don't worry if you don't, but make sure that your balance feels secure. If you feel in any way uncertain, don't do it. This is working on balance, it's working on strength, and it's giving the brain a good workout for concentration. Then slowly bring the foot down and bring the other foot up, really slow. And by keeping the body long and straight, that takes a lot of focus, which is really useful. Your legs getting strengthened, your upper body's getting strengthened, your arms are being used. All very, very helpful. And bring the foot back to the floor and your seat back onto your chair. Anytime you're in a situation where you have a couple of seconds, just do these balance. You know, it's one of these kind of, you pause for a second when you wait for the kettle to boil. So you just lift one foot off the floor and bring it back, lift the other one up. All of it is helping to keep the brain working, to keep the body in a good strength. And just having that is useful for the aging process, where you're going to become less steady and less strong. It's incredibly useful. So practice. Just you're waiting in line at this supermarket. Nobody's looking at your feet, so you can lift one foot off the floor. They don't know that you're standing on one leg. And then you put it down and you just lift the other one up. And you can give them a little smile and pretend that you're standing steady, because as you do it, you're using so many aspects of yourself. It's really, really useful. And it also makes it fun for you. And coming back again into the center. Bring the fingers together, push into the palms. Feel the strength of that push in the upper arms. Then open the fingers wide so the fingertips are touching together. Press in. Often as we get older, the fingers get more rounded and they don't straighten out very well. So this is a nice one for helping to stretch them back. Then push one hand forward and the palm is facing forward, the fingers are facing up. And use the other hand to pull the fingers back. So you're stretching the whole front of the inside of the hand. And if you keep the arm straight, you'll feel it all the way up to the elbow. Then let the back of the hand go forward and gently pull the fingers under towards the inside of the forearm. Come up with the fingers and pull them back. Bring the fingers down and pull them under. Come up, pull them back. Lower and pull. Then change sides, so the fingers on the other hand are up, the palm is forward, you're pulling back. Gently letting the back of the hand be forward, you're pulling under. Changing again, bringing the fingers back. Slowly, back of the hand forward, pulling under. If anybody uses computers a lot, this is a great one for you. Pulling the fingers back, because sometimes the fingers get really kind of stuck, and then the back of the wrist forward. Good. Then rotate the wrists, coming back around, just working them. Squeeze, 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 spread. Squeeze in tight, spread. Squeeze and spread. And move the fingers as if you could move them out far. And then just push the palms away from you. Stretch the front of the shoulders. And then glide the arms forward and up. Pushing up. Opening out in a big wide circle. Coming down and pushing back. Forward and up. Palms pushing away. Opening out to the side. Feel the full engagement of the arms. Then once more pushing the palms back. Coming forward. Pushing up. And opening out again. And coming back down. Turning the shoulders. And going the other way. And then coming to center. Take in a breath. Let the breath go when your chin moves towards your body. Take your breath in when the head comes back and the chin pushes up. Let your breath go when the head moves towards the body. The back stays really straight. Take your breath in as your head comes back. And once more, letting the head come forward towards the body with the out breath. Bringing the head back with the in breath. And coming back to center. Close your eyes and feel how straight you're sitting in the chair. Just notice. Notice your breath. Feel its rhythm. With your eyes still closed, do a really slow motion lift of the right shoulder towards the right ear. And then slowly, slowly let it lower down. Slow motion lift of the left shoulder upward. Slowly let it come down. Changing sides again. Up with the right shoulder. Slowly bringing it down. Left shoulder comes up and returns. And again with the right. Coming down. And the left. Coming up. And back down. Gently pushing the shoulders back. Letting them come forward. Pushing them back. And forward. Back. And forward. And back to neutral. Opening the eyes again. Clasping the hands behind the head. Keeping the back nice and straight. You're taking in a breath. Exhaling when the right knee moves towards the the right elbow towards the left knee. Beg your pardon. Coming back up to the center for the in-breath. Out-breath when the left elbow goes towards the right knee. You're coming back to the center for the in-breath. The right elbow's going for the left knee and the breath's going out. You're coming back up for the in-breath. Out breath, left elbow, right knee. Back up to center. And out breath, last time to the left knee. In breath when you come back. Out breath, left elbow to the right knee. And back up to center. And free up the hands. Move your knees gently in and out. Then the hips gently left and right. And come back to neutral. Let yourself sit with the back of the chair supporting you and closing your eyes. Notice how you're breathing. Notice if it's deep or shallow, if it's fast or slow. Notice how you're sitting. If your body is comfortable or if you need to open something just a little bit more. Imagine that you can breathe all the way down to the toes and that the breath goes down into the land and anchors deep in the earth. Then imagine that you can breathe all the way up from deep in the ground, through the whole body, and up through the top of your body, your head, high into the sky. Drawing down from above and coming through the body, all the way down, deep into the land, and back up again. Feeling this connection with our physical world and our non-physical world. Then imagine that these two meet in the middle at the heart, and you can imagine yourself being in the balance between the earth and the sky. Picture your breath coming in and filling you up with a gentle and loving light. And when your breath leaves, imagine that that light is leaving from you and reaching out into the world. You breathe it in, you replenish everything inside your own being, and then you let it go. And you send the light out, spreading it to those you know and those you don't. Imagine your own inner self expanding and feeling peaceful, being in harmony. And imagine that these qualities float out from you and touch all of those around you. People may or may not be aware of it, but your energy supports them in being able to be more balanced themselves. As you take it in, give yourself a tiny smile, a smile of gratitude and appreciation for all of the effort that you just made. Let that smile stay with you, knowing that even if it's just for yourself, it has a way of softening and helping you feel more together, more happy, able to feel the joy. Imagine that you're drawing joy into you and it's filling up your heart. And then imagine the joy dancing away from you and reaching all and sundry with its delight and its happiness. And let this sense of joy stay and be inside and around you as we move into the last part of the day. Keeping your eyes closed just for a moment and feeling for yourself how balanced you are inside. And then opening your eyes when you're ready to come back and join everyone else. I hope none of you gets achy later on. If by any chance you do and you have a bathtub, Epsom salts in the bathtub is great for achy muscles. And if not, do some stretching or use a heating pad. Another very simple way of helping to ease any muscles around the lower back that may have gotten tight is to get your legs up the wall and resting there for about 10 or 15 minutes. It's a simple one, not always easy to get to. You may have to use the bed because getting on the floor for some folks won't be easy. But you could always, even if you just get your legs higher and give your body a chance to relax, it's a useful way of helping to loosen back up again. So I hope that you don't have any aches and pains. Beth, back to you. Thanks.
Oh, thank you so much, Mina. Let's hear it for Mina. Wonderful.
Thank you, Ms. Mina.
That was amazing.